Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the latest Broker Concierge segment. Today's session is on the relocation department and how it functions and how you may be able to work with us. So with that, we will get right into the presentation. Now, the hope this morning is that you will come away with an understanding of how it all works and what we do and how you really can use this to help grow your business. You can go to the next slide. So on the first slide, you'll see some different logos on the left-hand side, and these are things we're going to talk about today. One is the Platinum Club. The second one is CB Connections. The third is Cardis, which is the largest relocation provider in the world, and that's who we work with quite a bit. And then we'll talk about outgoing referrals as well. But before we go any further, I will talk about the Platinum Club. And that is something that we opened up to all agents this year. In the past, it was just relocation agents that closed 2 or more outgoing referrals. And we'll talk about an outgoing referral a little bit later on, but it is now open to all agents. So we hope to see you as part of that club. Here's a list of business opportunities that you can take part in. And some of these you'll be eligible to work on immediately if you are a newer agent. And then some have different criteria. So I'll go through the bullets now and let you know where things stand. First, we'll talk about Cardis themselves. So Cardis is the largest provider of relocation services. They completed 130,000 transactions last year in 160 different countries around the world, and they specialize in corporate relocation. So these are corporations hiring them to move their employees throughout the world. We are a principal broker in the Cardis Broker Network. We are a platinum broker, which is the highest status level that you can obtain. We share the platinum status with Liv Sotheby's in the Denver market and with ERA Shields down south in the Colorado Springs market. So we do have one competitor, and the way it works is for all home purchase referrals, we are the only ones contacted when it is our week in the rotation. And for all listing referrals, we are one of 2 for all listing referrals for anyone that is leaving the Denver metro area. And it's done on a rotation that's established annually, so some weeks we only get home listings, and in some weeks we get home listings and home buyers as well. Now, it's a performance-based network, as you see on the screen here. And they measure us on a number of different criteria as far as accuracy, when we do our market analysis, how close we come to the final sale price, how we do on our conversion of home buyers, are we able to help the home buyers find a place and close on it. They also measure us on how we do with incoming and outgoing referrals placed in the broker network. So we do get a lot of incoming referrals, folks coming into Colorado from other brokers who send their clients to us. And then we send quite a few outgoing referrals for our agents' clients who are looking outside of our market area for other brokers in the network to help them. And then just to note again, Cardis really has a domestic and international reach, so they can help clients in many countries outside of the U.S. So this gives you an idea of the other relocation management companies we work with. So as we mentioned, Cardis is the largest provider of relocation services, and they are actually our largest relocation management company client as well. But we do work with a number of other relocation companies. You'll see on the screen a list of them now. Ayers is one that is in our market, and we do quite a bit of business with Ayers Relocation. Cap Relo is another one that you will see. Lexicon Mobility Services International, which has a location in Denver at the Tech Center. Serva Worldwide is one of the top 4 relo companies just behind Cardis, so we see a lot of business from them. Weichert Workforce Mobility you'll recognize as well, and Xerox Relocation also has a Denver office, so this gives you an idea of the other companies that we work with. These are the actual corporate clients that those relocation management companies are hired by. So you'll see some of the employers are based here, some just have a branch here. So let me just take a look. Like Lockheed Martin, for example, is a Cartus relocation client. Lockheed hires Cartus to move their employees. They did a big group move into their facility in the Roxborough, Littleton area. They moved a couple hundred folks from Pennsylvania to Littleton, and we did help with the folks coming in looking for housing in the Littleton area. And these other companies have done similar moves. TJX actually moved a facility from Wyoming, just over the border, where a lot of their folks were living in Fort Collins. They moved them to Framingham, Massachusetts, so we took care of the listings and the departure end. So that just gives you an idea of some of the companies that we are currently working with. Now, Coldwell Banker, the relocation department, conducted, or closed, I should say, 1,811 transactions last year. You see the dollar volume and the commission volume that was shared by the agents that work on relocation. Just to give you an idea, there are actually 5 of us in the relocation department here at 600 Grant Street, and then we have 2 additional folks who support the group out of our Northern California headquarters. And those 2 folks actually work on all of the incoming and outgoing referrals. So when you place an outgoing referral, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but that goes to Denise Mueller. And when you get an incoming broker-to-broker referral for someone coming into our market area, you'll be contacted by Kelly Ento. So those are the 2 folks that work with us outside of our Denver headquarters. We talked a little bit about being a platinum agent and what that means. So in order to be a platinum agent, you actually need to close 2 outgoing referrals in a calendar year. And those 2 outgoing referrals can be anywhere outside of our market area. They could actually be in Colorado, but not where we have an office. So for example, Grand Junction is an area we do not have an office. So it's in Colorado, but it's not serviced by Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage. So we are an NRT-owned real estate company, and so anyone outside of our coverage area would be an outgoing referral, and that includes, of course, referrals outside of Colorado. The transaction does not have to touch Colorado. They could be moving, for example, from New York City to Miami. You may have clients in New York, maybe they're retiring, moving to Miami. You can actually place an outgoing referral. We can help get them a broker in New York to give them an idea of what their property would sell for, and then a second broker in the Miami area or wherever they're retiring to help them with home buying. 2 separate referrals, and you would get credit for each of them once they close. Now, once you are a member of the Platinum Club, you'll be invited to a retreat that we do annually in Vail, Colorado. We typically do it at the Son and Elk Hotel, and it's just an evening reception, really welcoming and thanking all of the agents that have closed 2 outgoing referrals. And of course, it's an overnight with a Sunday to spend on your own. And then we do additional advertising for the Platinum agents after the retreat. So you'll see an ad in either 5280 magazine or the Denver Business Journal. We've been using both. It's a full-page ad of our Platinum agents with contact information to really let consumers know that these particular agents really know relocation and really understand what it means to help someone who's relocating. So that's just an additional benefit for you. CB Connections refers to the outgoing referral program. In order to send an outgoing referral, you would go to cbagentinfo.com, and when you're on CB Agent Info, there's a Google-like search bar. You can put in the words outgoing referral or even relocation referral. It uses search words, so it'll pick it up and it'll bring up the outgoing referral template. And the outgoing referral template is called the CB Connections. That's the name of the program. You would complete the template with as much information as you can, and that would include, of course, the client's approval for you to refer them. That's one of the mandatory fields that you would check off, saying that your client has allowed you to refer them to another agent. And then you give us as much information about the clients that you have. Anything that could help us. If they are seniors that are retiring, that's very helpful for the agents on both ends to know. If it is, your brother or sister or something like that, the more information you can give us on their situation, the higher the conversion is. So anything you can help us with goes into the template. Once you hit send, it does go to Denise, Mueller, and Caliento, and they would place the referral and let you know who it is placed with. A couple of things that I will mention is you can request an agent that you would like to use. That agent does not need to be in our network. So typically we use the Cardis Broker Network, and we'll go over in a few slides the list of companies that are typically in the network. However, you can refer to any broker, a RE/MAX broker, Keller Williams, an independent. As long as they're willing to pay the referral fee, then you will get paid on that transaction. Just keep in mind, on the Cardis Broker Network, all of those firms have agreed to pay a 35% referral fee to us. You are paid on your current split at the time the referral closes. And some of the other brokers outside of our network still pay the traditional 25% broker-to-broker referral. So if you're using someone outside of the network, just know your compensation may be impacted. You're still paid on your split of the 25% or whatever it is that we're able to collect. And here's just a definition of an outgoing referral. So it's really anyone who wants to buy or sell real estate anywhere that Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage of Colorado does not service. So again, it can be within the state, but somewhere that we are not servicing. So us agents ask us often, what does it take to be on the relocation team? Should I consider pursuing that? And so I'll just give you an idea of what that means to be on the relocation team. So in order to get relocation business from our department, you would need to qualify. And in order to qualify, you would need to close 10 transactions per year in the 2 years prior to being certified. So if you were to go through the training that's coming up in December of this year, you would have had to close 10 transactions this year, 2016, and 10 transactions last year in 2015. Once you meet that production level, your manager would need to recommend you for the team. And we have about 225 relocation agents on the team. Some offices do not have openings very often for agents. Some offices actually need different agents now, or new agents, I should say, on the team. So it really depends on where you're located. I want to let you know as well, there's actually 3 different teams. The first one is the affinity team. That group of agents work with USAA members, and that's active and retired military, Navy Federal members, as well as our other affinity programs like American Airlines, Discover Bank, and those clients. The second team is actually our corporate buyer team. That's a separate designation. Those agents help corporate clients who are relocating employees into the area buy properties. The third designation is pre-marketing and inventory, and those are for agents that are interested in working with corporate sellers. And those folks would be selling their home here in Colorado and relocating to a different area, and you would be working with them as their listing agent. This next slide gives you an idea of the network itself. And when we talk about Realogy, Realogy is the parent company for NRT. You'll see that on the second column. NRT owns real estate companies, owns and operated companies. Coldwell Banker is one brand. They do have a few ERA real estate brands that they own, or companies that they own, along with a few Sotheby's brokers as well. On the left-hand side is the franchise group, and they make up a lot of the Cardis Broker Network. When I talked about placing broker-to-broker referrals and which brokers are typically used, typically it is a Realogy franchise. So you'll see Better Homes and Gardens, Century 21, Coldwell Banker, ERA, and Sotheby's. So all of those brands, even if there are company-owned brands like you see under the NRT column, there are also franchised affiliates that are independently owned and operated, but a lot of them make up the Cardis Broker Network. So typically when you put an outgoing referral in through the program and we let you know who that broker is, many times it's one of the 5 brands. And if we don't have coverage there, we'll certainly find coverage with a different broker and let you know that. On the third column, you'll see Relocation. So Realogy actually is the parent company for Cardis. And as I mentioned, Cardis is the largest provider of our business for relocation services. And then in the last column is the Title Resource Group. You'll recognize them as Guardian Title in the state of Colorado. And they also have a joint venture with Axiom Financial. And you'll have loan officers in each of your offices providing mortgage services. And the last thing I'll mention is under the brokerage column under NRT, there's Castle Edge Insurance, and that was formerly NRT Insurance. And that's a really good tool for all of you to use that could really help your clients. In many cases in Colorado, the insurance can be expensive. We've had some flooding, some fires, and some other things that really have made insurance pretty expensive for buyers. So Castle Edge is able to give a quote to your buyers, and they actually work with 7 different insurance companies, and they're well-recognized brands. They will get a quote from them, and then they will let your client know what the best company is for the best coverage, and then they could hopefully help your buyers out in that way. I also want to talk about sales leads, and we do have some corporate clients that we work with directly through our office in Colorado. The biggest one is called Team National, so that's a company that we work with that has an affinity program with us. So all of the Team National members, if they work with Coldwell Banker and they register themselves with our program here first, and we place them with an agent, either to list their property or help them buy a property, they get a cashback rebate at the end of the transaction. So that was a sales lead that was brought to us by an agent in the North Metro office. And the way the program works is that you would have the right of first refusal for any business in our local market that you wanted to service. But for those pieces of business that you wouldn't be servicing, you receive a 10% net revenue check in the transaction. So you're attached to each transaction, whether it occurs outside of Colorado or inside of Colorado. If you're not handling it, you would get 10% of the net revenue that we receive, which is typically the referral fee minus any rebates, and then you're paid the 10% on your split. So it's a good residual income. In the case of Team National, for example, we've only had, I believe, 2 or 3 transactions of the 150 or so referrals that we've gotten in Colorado. The rest are out of our market, but that agent will get the 10% revenue share on all of those transactions once they close, even though she is not part of the transaction. So if you do know any decision makers, typically they're in the human resources department. If you do run into anyone that says they're struggling a little bit with relocating employees in or out of Colorado, we might be able to help them with that. Or if you're able to explain the affinity program to them, that their local employees could take advantage of working with Coldwell Banker and get a rebate anytime they list a property or purchase a property through Coldwell Banker, they might be interested in that affinity benefit. And there's no cost to the corporation for either program. On the relocation side, we typically earn a referral fee from any of the services that we are providing, and that would be the van line service, and that would be corporate housing, or whether we're listing or helping them buy a home. So there's no fee for any of those services. If they need something more complex, we would bring in Cardis, and Cardis would do a full policy review. They could rewrite or write a relocation policy for the company, and some of those services do come with a fee. And then the affinity program, there's never a fee for the administration or for the setup for that individual company who might be interested in it. We take care of all that, and then we process all of the referrals and all of the rebates. As you see on the screen here, no company is too small or too large. We do have a few companies that move 1 or 2 folks a year with us, and then we have some like Team National. They have 450,000 members, and we typically would get 100 or 150 referrals in a year for that particular client. So we're happy to work with any type of client. Just let me know, separately if you'd like to discuss it and how I might be able to help you with any of your leads.
Tom, we have a question out here, and it's in regard to Team National, so I just wanted to bring it up now. But Is there going to be any scripting available for Team National? That would be really helpful.
Sure. So for the Team National account, as I mentioned, we run it all here, and we get the referrals first, and then we place it. And as I mentioned, I think we had 2 or 3 referrals out of the 150 or so referrals so far in Colorado. So when we do get those referrals and we do request an agent, we let the agent that's getting the referral know exactly what Team National is, how the rebate works, and how that'll be processed back to the member. But we don't have any any actual scripts. If you need more detail, just come to me after the presentation, and I could tell you more about the program.
Okay, so a little bit of a clarification / follow-up on that, but not specifically for Team National, but what about just the program in general?
Sure. So for each of the programs, the corporate relocation and the affinity program, we have information in our department. So we have full presentations, and then we have one-page sell sheets that explain both of the programs. So the affinity program is one, the corporate relo is the other, and they're just really bulleted items, and they're also in a paper brochure we had professionally made that you can walk through any potential clients that you would want to speak to this about. So if you did want a script for something like that, we would just meet, and I could just quickly put some additional bullets together, talking points, if you were to approach some companies. I think that's what you're asking.
Perfect. I think that is. And then I have one other question. This is unrelated to the scripting, but is Relo willing or able to create Facebook or New Panda ad graphics, which can convey the message that we help international friends with broker choices?
Great question. And yes, so we actually have a piece. It's called Love Where You Live, and that is our outgoing referral piece. It is a PDF, and so agents have been sending it out. We do have instructions on how to send it out through New Panda, and so you can send it out to your entire sphere, and it does mention that we can help them anywhere in the world find a broker. And so that is the piece that you would start with, and that's where most agents have been getting the biggest bang for the buck. We have not figured out yet and in touch how to upload an outside piece into there to make it in a user-friendly way. So New Panda would really be the way to do that right now. So again, contact me. Your office also has the piece, your AO and your manager, but I'm happy to send it out to you, and I'll send you the instructions for New Panda as well, how to use it.
Perfect. Thanks, Tom.
Great, and I think we have just, the last slide. So we do have a Facebook page. If you go into Coldwell Banker Residential Brokerage Colorado Relocation, which is kind of long, you'll find our Facebook page, and we post information, awards, different things we're doing. In the last week, we did a joint sponsorship with USAA for the Colorado Switchbacks, so we had some pictures and info there of how that event went, but it's a good way to just keep track of us. And when Katrina sends you out the follow-up, I believe it'll have my contact info if anyone needs to reach me. And that is all I have for today.